Hey, it's Brunch with Brian. A little bit late today, sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. And it looks like we got maybe a weird, slow internet today, so I don't know about that. But wanted to wish you guys all a very happy Father's Day weekend starting today. And it's going to be great. So I want you to think about your father figuratively and literally. So remember that Rich Dad Poor Dad. Maybe you guys read that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, that talks about basically it's a role model. So what kind of a role model? Look in your life and what kind of role model was your dad or is your dad? I don't know how old you are. I don't have my dad any longer. But he was a big role model in some ways. So here's the whole key on Father's Day. Boy, if your dad is with you, don't take that for granted and make a big deal out of it. And, it's a real special thing and your dad will appreciate it. But if you don't have your dad any longer, like me, I want you to think about the good parts of your dad and maybe the not so good parts, and think of emulating the good parts. Take the best parts of your dad and use those, and you can see them in yourself. Whoever raised you, your father figure, your dad, and your mom too, have a huge impact on the way you think about life. So I want you guys to think about your dad this weekend and think about the things you admire the most or respect the most about your dad, the traits, and there's sort of traits that are kind of inherent, like somebody who's kind of competitive. Okay, so that's a trait I have. Now I got that more from my mom. Now my dad, I got more, he was a thinker brain, he was an engineer, and he was a very logical thinker, and he was a fixer. That's probably the number one thing I think about when I think about my dad, positive traits. He gave me this fixer mentality. So I like to fix things. I like to create systems that work. And so a lot of our real estate and a lot of the training that I've created is probably because I learned about being a fixer from my dad. Now my dad, he had some, drawbacks, and we had some challenges between him and me. I was sort of like, he was in the military, and so he was a lieutenant. He was stationed over in Germany. He wanted to run the family like a platoon. And there was 5 of us kids born in 6 years, so we were very tight. And I was sort of the rebellious recruit. So we bumped heads quite a bit. And you got to take the good parts and sort of get over. And parents and your dad might be a place where forgiveness plays into your life. And remember, you can't let go of stuff and you can't move on from stuff until you forgive. So sometimes with our dads, we have to do some forgiving. And sometimes I want you to use them as a role model. So that's sort of the two sides of dads on Father's Day. Use them as a role model. Even write it out. Write out what traits of theirs you really admire. Like my dad was a great fixer. He was really good at picking up something and trying to figure out how to fix it. And now I do that. And not cars. Now he taught me to fix cars. I actually used to fix my own car. And, back in Minnesota. But now I fix stuff about the real estate systems and try and figure out, the best way. And it's an ever-changing world out there. So you got to constantly be thinking of how to do it better and how to fix what's ain't working. So stick with us, guys. I'm going to help you fix it. And use us as a role model. But use your dad's best traits as a role model. And, get over and forgive the parts where maybe he wasn't so great, okay? Because dads aren't always kind, gentle, wonderful people because they got, their challenges too. And they're just a person like you and me. And sometimes we build our parents up. But, when I think about it, my dad was 30 years old or 31 years old and he had 6 little kids, so that's 6 little kids, like 6 years old down to a baby. So that's that's a big challenge. So and that that's a big pressure too. And you think about getting through all those years and all that. So I'm forgiving, and I use my dad for a role model. Okay, so let's say that I use my dad for a role model. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I use my dad for a role model. Now, not in every way, and that's the whole thing on role models. You're not going to say, I emulate this person in every aspect and every facet of their personality. No, just pick somebody like, you know what, Lynette's really good for enthusiastic energy. So if you want to say, I want to be more enthusiastic and have more energy, sometimes you just think of Lynette and you get more energy, get more enthusiasm. So whoever, pick people for different traits, but your dad definitely has great traits. Everybody has, great traits, and so just emulate those, okay? So let's start deep breathing, deep breath in. Looks like the video was so good today. Another deep breath. And one more. Okay, great job, guys. Have a wonderful Father's Day weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. I might drop some stuff in Facebook because, believe it or not, guess where we're going to be in a few hours. In a few hours, we're going to be in the Grand Canyon. So that sounds kind of exciting. So maybe we'll send you some cool pictures. All right, until I see you next, keep expecting success, getting